Hello everyone, Absent Friend here, and welcome back for a brand new Disney Villainous guide. Whoa, can you believe it? We have a brand new guide coming today. How awesome is that? Wow, I've had a lot of sugar, which means we are talking about everyone's favorite villain of Mario Kart ripoff racing. So grab your pixie sticks, your Oreos, and don't forget the donuts as we explore the vain and corrupt King Candy.
Hello, my royal subjects! Have some candy!
Huh? Oh, sorry. I crashed after that sugar rush. Alright, where were we? Oh. In this video, we will be looking at all the cards in King Candy's deck with a few tips on how to play them or not play them as the case may be. We will also be looking at King Candy's Fate deck for anyone who might want some tips and tricks on how to effectively keep him from winning the game. Remember, thumbs up if you like the video, subscribe to the channel, and don't forget to ring that bell to be alerted when new episodes are available. To win as King Candy, he must pass the start finish with a glitch attached to Vanellope Von Schweetz. Whoa, wait a minute. Time out, back it up. That is very different than anything else we've ever seen. How in the world are we ever to accomplish that? Well, let's start by looking at his board. What? Why aren't we looking at the allies? Oh, you have no idea. Check this out. King Candy's very pink board. Oh, excuse me. Salmon board. His board is unlike any other villain in Disney villaindom. Not even or have this kind of board. Instead of the usual 4 locations, he technically has only 1 location, Sugar Rush Speedway. He will still play his allies and items in the 4 divots below his board, and Fators will still cover actions on top of his board as normal. But King Candy's mover will instead move by action slots along his racetrack. What does that mean, you say? Let me show you. On King Candy's turn, he can move from 1 to 4 spots. When he arrives, he may take the action he is on, the one in front, and the one behind, unless they are covered, of course. Which means that King Candy can only use 3 actions per turn. Is this unfair? Possibly, but there are some ways to use this to his advantage. For example, on his first turn, he can move here and gain 3 power, play a card, and discard. On his next turn, he can move 1 space, get 3 power again, and play 2 cards. And on his third turn, he can move 1 again, and again gain 3 power, play a card, and discard. Also, he is the only villain to have 3 fate actions on his board, each one possibly being used 3 times in a row. Be sure to study his board well to come up with all kinds of ways to utilize his special way of moving around his realm. Now let's talk about his allies. He has a total of 9. 3 racers, 3 candy cybugs, 1 Duncan and Winchell, 1 Taffeta Mutton Fudge, and 1 Sour Bill. First up, racers. These feisty little NPCs have a strength of 1 and cost 1 power to play. When played or moved, King Candy will gain 1 power, so technically they are a free-to-play card. We'll talk about how to play allies later. So let's move on to Candy Cybug. These freaky crossover insects cost 2 power to play and have a strength of 2. When used in a vanquish action, they are not discarded, but instead gain +1 strength and must be moved to another location. Use them for all vanquishing actions before any other ally to make them stronger. Next up, Duncan and Winchell. These tough little crawlers also cost 2 power to play and have a strength of 3. When these glazed treats are played or moved, King Candy may perform a vanquish action. This vanquish action can be with any ally at any location, so use them well. Next, Taffeta Mutton Fudge. This mean girl wannabe is a 2-cost, 2-strength ally. but when she is played or moved, King Candy will move Vanellope's racer token back 2 action spaces, or he can just use another play card action. This ally is very important in keeping Vanellope from winning the race, but even if it's early in the game, she can still be useful for getting extra play card actions. Use her at every opportunity. And finally, Sour Bill. This little patch of anti-sweetness costs 1 power to play and has a strength of 1. But when he is played or moved, King Candy may reveal cards from his deck to find an ally and place that ally in his hand. All other revealed cards will be placed back on top of the villain deck in any order. This is a great card to use to cycle King Candy's deck to find the objective items he needs, so play and use him as much as possible to find those items quickly. Now let's talk about how to play each ally. It's a good idea to play the racers and cybugs all in one location to prepare for the upcoming objective battle that must happen for King Candy to win the game. Taffeta and Sour Bill have great functions to be used throughout the entire game, so don't use them for vanquish actions unless absolutely necessary. The Diabetes Crawlers are good for initiating vanquish actions in a pinch, so keep them around for emergencies. Alright, let's move on to his items. He has a total of 4. 3 glitches and 1 Ralph's Hero Medal. These items are imperative for completing King Candy's objective. We're actually going to start with Ralph's Hero Medal. This gold coin substitute costs 3 power to play and should be played to the same location as any previous played racers and cybugs. After the medal is played, King Candy will find Wreck-It Ralph in the Fate deck and play him to that location and attach the medal to him. After King Candy defeats Ralph, he will then find and play Vanellope Von Schweetz from the Fate deck to the same location. Once Vanellope is out, play this next item on her. Glitch. This portable malfunction costs 1 power to play and can only be attached to Vanellope Von Schweetz. If no other glitch is attached to her, King Candy will immediately place himself and the white racer token at the start-finish location and end his turn. Once the glitch is attached, the big race begins. And if King Candy can make a full lap around his track before the white racer token does, King Candy will win the game. At this point, do everything possible to keep the racer token going backwards while pushing King Candy forwards. Taffeta can help, as well as certain effects, which we'll get to in a minute. If possible, add more glitches to Vanellope, as Fate cards can remove the glitches and force the big race to start over. Also, if the racer token finishes before King Candy, it will remove all glitches and the big race will have to begin again whenever a new glitch is attached. Avoid this at all costs. Now then, let's check out his effects. He has a total of 13. 3 goes, 3 locked up memories, 3 turbo-tastics, 2 have some candies, 1 pay to race, and 1 can't be allowed to race. First up, go! I love the exclamation mark. It's not just go, it's go! When this 1 power effect is played, King Candy may move up to 2 allies to new locations. This card is very situational, but remember the allies that have the special bonuses when moved, so if it helps to use them, this card is great. Otherwise, flush it. Next, Locked Up Memories. This 1 power effect lets King Candy gain 3 power, so actually a net of 2, or move the racer token back 2 action spaces. Unless KC is desperate for power, use this card to keep the racer going back instead of forward. Next, Turbo-tastic. This effect is free to play and doesn't use a play a card action. If King Candy is surrounded by covered actions from either hero cards or the racer token, use this to bypass them. Simple card, but situational. If it's early in the game, simple card, but situational. If it's simple card, Simple card, but situational. If it's early in the game, go ahead and dump it. Next.
Fantastic!
Have some candy. This one power effect lets KC reveal the top 5 cards of his deck, put 2 in his hand, and discard the rest. Great for
Fantastic!
Great for deck cycling and getting to that metal faster. Totally useless in the endgame. Next.
Fantastic!
Pay to race. After King Candy moves, but before he takes any actions, he can play Pay to Race, which allows him to use up to 6 power to move his mover forward that many spaces on the track. Once the big race has begun, use this to get the lead in the race. There is only one copy, so use it well. Oh, did I mention that this card does not require a play card action? That's kind of important.
Fantastic!
And finally, can't be allowed to race. For the cost of 6 power, yikes, this effect allows KC to move any number of allies to a hero's location, perform a vanquish action, and bonus, none of the allies used to vanquish will be discarded. And he can move the racer token backwards 3 action spaces. This is a great card to use during the big race, but it can also be handy during the Wreck-It Ralph phase. Either way, just remember that the Cybug strength enhancement thing won't be activated, so there is that. And now it's time for the conditions. He has the usual 2 and 2, or 4 total. 2, the most powerful virus in the arcade, and 2, out of order. Let's look at out of order. Even in the future, nothing works. Sorry. During their turn, if another player gains 2 or more power, King Candy will play this card and choose any card from his discard pile and put it into his hand. If possible, use this to get back any cards that help keep the racer token from crossing the finish line before KC. Otherwise, toss it out. Next, the most powerful virus in the arcade. During their turn, if another player moves an ally or item by any means, KC may play this card and move forward 2 action spaces. Very useful during the big race, but useless if the other players don't move allies and or items very much or at all. If that's the case, get rid of it. And that's it for King Candy's villain deck, but now let's turn the tables and check out his fate deck to see how we can keep this game-hopping relic from winning the game. First up, the heroes. He has a total of 4. We'll begin with Vanellope von Schweetz. She is the energetic rightful ruler of Sugar Rush Kingdom and imperative to King Candy's objective. She has a strength of 2, which is meaningless because KC will never try to vanquish her. As the Fator, never, ever, 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 ever play this card. Keep her out of play and make King Candy find her himself. Once she is out, she can be moved by other heroes to keep important actions covered. Next, Wreck-It Ralph. He has a strength of 6, and when he is played, he can move Vanellope to any other location. While in play, King Candy must pay 1 power to use his move item / ally action. Ralph is important to Casey's objective, but only if he has that medal attached. So if he comes out in a fate action and there isn't a better option, go ahead and play him cover actions. No big whoop. Next, Fix-It Felix Jr. When this little 3-strength hero is played, he can move Vanellope to any location, but he limits King Candy's movements to either 2 or 3 action spaces. This is a great hero to play, so keep him out on the board as much as possible. And the last hero, Sergeant Tamara Jean Calhoun. This tough as nails NPC has a strength of 4 and can move Vanellope just like the other heroes, but when she is in play, King Candy must pay 1 power to perform a play a card action. Another great hero to keep in play at all times. Now let's move on to the fate effects. He has a total of 11. 2 Just Glaze Me, 2 Unfinished Level, 2 Princess Vanellope, 2 I Finally Have a Real Car, 1 Vanellope's Medal, 1 The Beacon, and 1 What's With All the Magic Sparkles. First up, Just glazed me. Ew. This effect forces King Candy to reveal his hand and then discard 2 cards. Not bad for early gameplay, but kinda useless later. It is handy to see what Casey is hiding in his hand though. Next, unfinished level. With this effect, the Fator will look at the top 4 cards of King Candy's villain deck, then put 2 cards on the top and 2 on the bottom in any order. This is a great card to play early on because the Fator could find that hero medal and secretly put it on the bottom of the deck, and KC will never know. Excellent. Next, Princess Vanellope. Fators will use this effect to move King Candy backwards up to 4 spaces. If it's the big race phase, use all 4 spaces to delay his win condition for as long as possible. Next, I finally have a real car. This card is only useful during the big race phase, and it duplicates the effect of Vanellope for even more of a boost to her racer token. It can still be played before the big race, if for no other reason than to put powerful cards at the bottom of the deck. Next, Vanellope's Medal. This adorable tear-jerking effect allows the Fator to play any hero from King Candy's discard pile and give that hero +1 strength. Use this to bring back Felix or Sergeant Calhoun or even Ralph, but do not play Vanellope. Next, the Beacon. With this effect, King Candy will choose a location and move all adjacent Candy Cybugs in play to that location. Then he may remove 1 Candy Cybug from that location. This is a great card to get rid of any Candy Cybugs, especially those that have been affected by their Vanquish ability. And the last Fate effect. What's with all the magic sparkles? This effect is very useful, but only during the big race phase. This can remove any glitches from Vanellope. Afterwards, if she still has a glitch on her, move her racer token forward 3 action spaces. If this removes her only glitch, then King Candy will have to start the race over again. Plus, this card can still be played in a Fate action, even if it has no effect. This is to avoid playing Vanellope's hero card. And that's it, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you found this video informative and maybe even picked up a few pointers on how to better play King Candy or play against him. If you guys enjoyed this video, please give it a like and don't forget to subscribe. Keep watching this channel for more Disney Villainous videos. But before we go, let me know in the comments which Disney villain you think had the best twist reveal story. I'm your absent friend, signing off.
Fantastic!